Hi everyone. So in today's video I'm going to read our fifth installment of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw. And remember, with this book we are focusing on the main idea with the supporting detail. So with each section that I read, we're going to come up with a prediction as to what we think the last straw is going to be for our main character, Greg Heffley. My prediction has always been that his last straw might have something to do with being embarrassed or something maybe in the setting of a restroom or his bedroom. And my supporting detail, or the thing that allowed me to come to this conclusion, is on the front cover. If we notice the front cover, Greg looks embarrassed and he's only in his underwear. And for the most part, you're only in your underwear in your bedroom and in your bathroom. So if Greg is somewhere he's not supposed to be without a lot of clothes, he's probably getting embarrassed. So I think something really embarrassing is going to happen to Greg, and that's going to be his last straw. He's just going to be fed up with something. So we're still reading. We're not even halfway through the book, so I could be wrong. But there are a lot of things going on with Greg. His dad is really into fitness now, and Greg's not. Neither is his brother. He also seems like the whole family is sharing one bathroom in the morning, which can be very frustrating. So it's a lot of things going on in Greg's life, in his personal life and in his school life. So we're just going to keep on reading and see what other clues we can find that'll let us know what his last straw is. February, Tuesday. Yesterday in the cafeteria, when I emptied out my lunch bag, I got 2 fruits and no snacks. What the? Bink boink. Excuse me. This is a really big problem. Mom always packs snacks of cookies or sugar wafers or something in my lunch bag, and it's usually the only thing I eat, so I had no energy for the rest of the day. So look at our text feature, the picture. Our text features always support what our words are saying. So up here, our text feature, we see Greg and he's in the lunchroom. And we know that he got 2 fruits. We even know which 2 he got because of our text feature that supports the words. He got an apple and looks like an orange. What supports he had no energy for the rest of the day? What class do you think he's in right here? I think he's in the gym. I think he's in PE. I think that's his PE coach. And he wants him to do, I think these are called pull-ups on a bar. And he said, I can't. He said, try at least 1. And Greg can't do 1. So he has no energy to get through the rest of the day. When I got home, I asked Mom what the deal was with the 2 fruits thing. She said she always buys enough treats to last us the whole week. So one of the boys must have taken the snacks out of the bin in the laundry room. I'm sure Mom thinks I'm the one stealing the snacks, but believe me, I already learned my lesson about that. Last year, I took treats out the bin, but I totally paid the price for it when I opened my lunch bag and pulled out Mom's substitute snack. Would any of you gentlemen care to trade something for a pack of croutons? So, what was the snack, the substitution snack? Croutons. Croutons are little pieces of bread you put on a salad, and that is not a good snack. Today at lunch, it was the same exact thing. 2 fruits, no snacks. Like I said, I really depend on the boost I get from the sugar. I almost fell asleep in Mr. Watson's class in 6th period, but luckily I snapped awake when my head hit the back of my chair. When I got home, I told Mom it wasn't fair. Someone else was eating the treats and I was having to suffer. But she said she wasn't going to the grocery store till the end of the week and that I would just have to make do until then. Dad wasn't any help. When I complained to him, he just made up a penalty for anyone caught stealing the snacks, which was no drums and no video games for a week. So obviously he thinks it's me or Roderick. Like I said, it's not me, but I figure Dad might be right about Roderick. When Roderick went up to the bathroom after dinner, I walked down to see if I could find any wrappers or crumbs. But while I was poking around in Roderick's room, I heard him coming downstairs. I had to hide quick because for some reason Roderick gets really bent out of shape when he catches me in his room, like he did yesterday. Right before Roderick got to the bottom of the stairs, I dove into his desk cabinet and shut the door. Roderick walked in the room, then flipped on his bed and called his friend Ward. Roderick and Ward talked forever, and I was starting to think I might have to spend the night in that desk. Roderick and Ward got into a pretty heated debate on whether or not a person could throw up standing on their head, and I felt like I was going to throw up myself. Luckily, around then, the phone's battery died. When Roderick went upstairs to get the spare phone, I made a run for it. See if you can find Greg. See if you can find where Greg is hiding. This snack thing wouldn't even be an issue if I had money. If I did, I could just buy something from the vending machine at school every day. At the moment, though, I'm kind of broke. That's because I wasted all my money on some junk I can't even use. About a month ago, I saw these ads in the back of one of my comic books, and I sent away for a couple of things that were supposed to totally change my life. So, the things that were supposed to totally change Greg's life are X-ray goggles, a personal hovercraft, a money printing machine, and a throw your voice machine. Money printing. I started receiving my stuff in the mail about 2 weeks ago. The cash machine turned out to be some stupid magic trick where you have to insert your own money in this secret slot for it to work. And that wasn't a good thing because I was really counting on that thing to get me out of having to find a job when I grow up. X-ray goggles made you see blurry and cross-eyed, so that was a bust too. Our text feature, the picture, supports that. He's got on X-ray vision goggles, and what is he doing? Falling. So that supports that he's probably can't see very well. The throw your voice thing didn't work at all, even though I followed the instructions to a book. But the item that had the item that I had the highest hopes for was the personal hovercraft. I figured getting home from school would be a breeze once my hovercraft finally showed up in the mail. Well, I got a package today, but there wasn't a hovercraft inside. There was just a blueprint for how to build a hovercraft. And I got stuck on step 1. Step 1 says acquire an industrial twin turbine engine. Sounds like something you put on an airplane. I just can't believe the people who write those ads can get away with lying to kids like that. I thought about hiring a lawyer to sue those guys, but lawyers cost money. And like I said before, the cash machine was a piece of garbage. Tuesday, when I got home from school, Mom was waiting on me, and she didn't look too happy. Turns out the school sent home my mid-quarter report cards, and she got the mail before I could intercept it. What do you think intercept means? She got the mail before I could intercept it. I think based on that sentence, intercept means that he couldn't get it before her. He couldn't go in between her getting it and him getting it because he probably was going to do some changing around if he knew he was getting bad grades. Mom showed me the report card and it wasn't pretty. Then she said we're going to wait for Dad to get home to see what he thought. Man, waiting for Dad to get home when you're in trouble is the worst. I used to just hide in the closet, but recently I figured out a better way to handle it. Now, whenever I get in trouble, I ask Grandma to come over for dinner because Dad's not going to act mad at me if Grandma's around. At dinner, I made sure I sat in the seat right next to Grandma. Luckily, Mom didn't mention my report card during dinner, and when Grandma said she needed to leave to go to bingo, I tagged right along with her. Escaping Dad wasn't the only reason I went to bingo with Grandma. I also went because I needed a surefire way to make some money. I figured spending a few hours with Grandma and her bingo friends was a pretty fair price to pay for a week's worth of snacks from the vending machine at the school cafeteria. Grandma and her friends were experts at bingo, and they're real serious about it too. They have all sorts of gear like lucky blotters and bingo trolls and stuff like that to help them win. One of Grandma's friends was so good that she memorizes all her cards. She doesn't even need to use a blotter to mark them off. For some reason, tonight, Grandma and her friends weren't winning like they usually do. But then on the coverall game, I got every square. I yelled out, "Bingo!" real loud, and the clerk came over to check my card. Turns out I messed up and covered a couple of squares that I shouldn't have. The clerk announced that my win was no good and everyone else in the room was pretty happy they could keep playing. Grandma told me not to call so much attention to myself if I called out bingo again because the regulars don't like it when newcomers win. I thought Grandma was pulling my leg, but sure enough, one of the regulars sent out one of their ladies to come over and intimidate me. And I have to admit, she did her job really well. Friday. Well, today wasn't exactly my best day ever. For starters, I flunked my science test. So it probably would have been a good idea to have studied for it last night instead of spending 4 hours at bingo. What do you think flunked mean? He says, today wasn't the best day ever. For starters, I flunked my science test. So if it's not the best day, how do you think his science test went? What do you think it means to flunk your science test? He also said he should have studied instead of spending 4 hours at bingo. So whatever he did to his science test doesn't sound like it was good. I fell asleep in 6th period today, and this time I was out cold. Mr. Watson had to shake me awake to get me up. As punishment, I had to sit in front of the room. That was just fine with me, because at least there I could sleep in peace. I just wish someone woke me up when 6th period ended, because I didn't wake up until the next period started. And why is Greg falling asleep in class again? We've already read about that. Why is Greg completely out of energy for class? The class I woke up in was taught by Mrs. Lowry. Mrs. Lowry gave me detention, and on Monday, I'm going to have to stay after school to serve it. Tonight, I was totally jittery from my sugar withdrawal, but I didn't have any money to buy soda or candy from the convenience store, so I did something I'm not real proud of. I went to Riley's and dug up the time capsule we buried in his front yard, but I only did it because I was desperate. I took the time capsule back to my house, opened it up, and got my $3. Then I went down to the convenience store and bought myself a big soda, a pack of gummy bears, and a candy bar. I guess I feel a little bad that the time capsule me and Rowley put together didn't stay buried for a few hundred years. On the other hand, it's kind of neat that one of us got to open it because we actually had some pretty good stuff in there. Monday. I didn't really know what to expect from detention, but when I walked into the room, the first thought I had was, I don't belong here with these future criminals. I took the only empty seat, which was right in front of a kid named Leon Rickett. Leon is not the brightest kid in our school. He was in detention because of what he did when a wasp landed in the window in homeroom. I found out that all you do in detention is sit there and wait for it to be over. You're not allowed to read or do any homework or anything, which is a dumb rule considering most of the kids that were there could really use the extra study time. Mr. Ray was the moderator, and he was there to more or less keep an eye on us. But every time Mr. Ray looked away, Leon would flick my ear or give me a wet willy or something like that. Eventually, Leon got careless, and Mr. Ray caught Leon with his finger in my ear. Mr. Ray said if he caught Leon touching me again, he was going to be in big trouble. I knew Leon was just going to go back to bugging me, so I decided to put a stop to it. As soon as Mr. Ray turned his back, I slapped my hands together to make it seem like Leon hit me. Ouch! Mr. Ray turned around and told Leon he was going to have to stay another half hour and that he had detention again tomorrow. On the way home, I was wondering if I made the smartest move back there at school. I'm not exactly the fastest runner, and a half an hour isn't that big of a head start. Tuesday. Tonight I realized all of my current problems could be traced back to when someone in my family started stealing the lunch snacks. So I decided to catch the thief once and for all. I knew Mom had gone grocery shopping over the weekend, so there was a fresh supply of snacks in the laundry room. That meant the thief was pretty much guaranteed to strike again. After dinner, I went to the laundry room and turned off the light. Then I climbed into an empty basket and waited. About half an hour later, someone came in the room and turned the light on. I hid under the towel, but it turns out it was just Mom. I stayed perfectly still while she got clothes out of the dryer. Mom didn't notice me there, and she dumped the clothes from the dryer right in the bin where I was hiding. Then she walked out of the room, and I waited some more. I was seriously ready to wait there all night if that's what it took. But the clothes from the dryer were really warm, and I started feeling a little drowsy. And before I knew it, I was asleep. I don't know how many hours I slept, but what I do know is that I woke up to the sound of crinkling cellophane. What do you think crinkly cellophane is? I think it's something like what they wrap cookies and chips in. I think that's what cellophane is because it makes a lot of noise when you open a bag of chips or a bag of Oreos. Crinkly cellophane. When I heard the sound of crunching, I turned on my flashlight and caught the thief red-handed. Ha! It was Dad. Man, I should have known it was him from the start. When it comes to junk food, he is a total addict. I started to give Dad a piece of my mind, but he cut me off. He wasn't interested in talking about why he was stealing our lunch snacks. What he was interested in talking about was what the heck I was doing buried in a pile of Mom's underwear in the middle of the night. Right at that moment, I heard Mom coming downstairs. I think me and Dad realized how bad the situation looked for both of us. So we each grabbed as many oatmeal creams as we could and made a run for it. So I'm going to stop right there with installment 5. And you guys remember to keep a log of what you think the last straw will be. Because again, a lot of things are happening to Greg. Because his dad might not be the person who's been taking all the snacks. He might have just gotten that one. He's got some bad grades that are coming in that no one has addressed. No one has addressed his report card but his mom. And then he failed a science test. So he's got a lot going on at school. And then at home, he also still shares a bathroom with everybody in the house. That's mom, dad, the baby, and Roderick. So that's a lot of people in one bathroom. All right, guys. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to look on the website for new postings. I'll post. They should be uploaded every Monday afternoon. So definitely check to every Tuesday for new videos. You guys have a great rest of your day.